I'm Adam Green, a technology journalist, and I'm really pleased to be joined today by Dan Kasun, who heads up independent software sales for the financial services sector at Amazon Web Services. Dan, thank you so much for joining me.
Great to be here, Adam.
Does GenAI require a different data pipeline to traditional AI in the financial services context? And how can firms set themselves up for success in both areas?
Yeah, short answer, yes. If you think about traditional AI, typically you're dealing with highly structured data that goes through multiple levels of curation and labeling and full built ETL processes that have been developed over years with highly controlled data. So along comes generative AI, and now you're trying to bring in all data. And the models are, and essentially, when you think about predictive AI and traditional AI, you're dealing with models that you're developing and training yourselves in many cases, or at least fine-tuning yourself. Most of the current uses of generative AI are using existing models, and they're not necessarily retraining or doing additional fine-tuning of the models necessarily. So much of the data that's being incorporated into GenAI infrastructures is going to be via RAG architectures and other data sources that come into that. So essentially building out another data layer that's providing kind of a little mini model in front of your LLM in terms of a RAG infrastructure is something organizations have to think about. And you wouldn't think about that in a traditional AI architecture. The other thing is the complexity of the data and the diversity of the data that you're bringing in. You don't have the luxury, and really the attractiveness of generative AI is that you are dealing with diverse data, and you don't have to go through the same ETL labeling, structuring, and curation processes as you went through for predictive AI. You still need some of it, but it's the idea. They'll just bring in all of our company's documents, we'll put it into a vector database, and we'll now have our RAG engine go pull that in. It's a different process and a different model that you're going to use than predictive AI. Now the good news is you should use and can use, or organizations, many of the existing same tools and approaches that they've had. So in terms of how do you maximize how they work together, one, it starts with an effective data architecture. If you have a good foundation for managing your data, governing your data, managing privacy, managing access control, doing the jump and starting to work with the diversity that generative AI brings into the equation will be much easier. If you don't have it right to start with, if you don't even have a good handle on how you do data access and management, then jumping into generative AI too fast will be a real challenge because you're going to add significant risk to that. So one, it starts with data architecture, and it starts with really figuring out what you're going to do. Are you going to have a data warehouse strategy where you bring things in and control access, or are you going to build an access tier that provides a layer on top of your data that helps provide universal access to the data to bring into multiple engines out there? So again, the answer is yes. It's going to be it complicates it, and it complicates the necessity of it. However, it shouldn't be that challenging if you have existing data practices in place, and much of that can be done and can be shared between the two AI architectures.
Dan, thanks so much for sharing your insights with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you.